started with a little bit of programming. And to start, first, I'd like to give a toast to the man who leads us, who loves us, who sustains us, the man we go to with our fears and our joys and our sorrows, to Reverend Wilson. Here. I didn't go to Toastmasters, I went to seminary. And I would like to invite up and thank Reverend Timothy Mercaldo for coming to visit Reverend Bernard. He's going to give us a wonderful performance. So if you would all just give your attention to Tim, Reverend Tim.
So I'm just gonna take a moment here to let you know that Reverend Dr. Bernard and I go back 30 years when I'm getting a lot of amen. Okay, let me get someplace where I'm not getting that. So when he was the chaplain for the Navy, he was stationed on Staten Island at Fort Wadsworth. So if you know anything about New York City, Fort Wadsworth is right by the Verrazano Bridge, and it overlooks what leads into, it's the Verrazano Narrows, it's called. It leads into New York, the Bay, where the statue is. I got to meet him at that time. I was on staff at a church that my father founded. I just actually ended a 35-year run as a pastor in that church. And he invited me to come, but we've known each other for 30 years. So what we like to say about each other, since it's obvious that our skin hues are different, we would often say that we are brothers from another mother. Now that's not a new phrase to all of you, and I didn't say that to be, to get a laugh, but it is really true about us because our backgrounds are so similar in Christendom and in the Christian life. And his calling is just a little bit down the road further, older, Bernard, older than mine, about 10 years now down the road. But our callings to the ministry are very parallel. He ended up in the Navy. I ended up being on Staten Island right near Fort Wadsworth, and we got to meet each other. So I asked him this morning in a text, so quick funny story, I left my socks home. I came without socks. You say, well, what do you mean? So I said, Bernard, odd request, but since you are a brother from another mother, would you bring socks for me? So these are Reverend Dr. Bernard's socks. Not many people can say that they're standing in the socks of Reverend Bernard, but I can. But in addition to that, more importantly, I asked him, what are your favorite hymns? Some of your favorite hymns, and his first response was HMMM. And then he got me these, and I'm going to give you a medley of Dr. Bernard's favorite hymns. Some of which I might just feel a little free to sing, and if I do, it will probably be something that you know. So feel free. The first one is the Navy hymn. The other ones are hymns that you probably know. Sing this together. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross, where my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a crown. And these next two are specific hymns that are very special to Pastor Bernard.
Thank Northfield Church and Reverend Wilson and his family for letting me speak and have a reflection on celebrating his 15 years. So first, congratulations on 15 years of being a minister here. My fondest memory of you was after your first year here. We came on a cold, brisk winter day. And it was, I believe, in November, December, when I was just about to leave for Boston, Massachusetts to head to for my first radiation treatment, and back in 2005. So, and I think that's where we truly started to fall in love with Northfield. So, definitely, the church wouldn't be here where it is today without your guidance and support these past years. Reverend Wilson has not just been my friend, not just been my pastor, but he's been my friend, caregiver, healer, and 1,000 other roles that he's been involved with throughout my life. He has helped me throughout the good times, the bad, and even the confusing ones, through visiting me in the hospital during my many surgeries and treatments, and even being just such a caring person to aid in my recovery through those days, if that meant providing a meal, emotional support, prayer, or a simple phone call just to check in. He's a man of many talents. Just calling him a pastor is certainly an understatement. He's guided me through tough, life-changing decisions, and I always feel comfortable mentioning any issues that I'm dealing with in my life because I know he's an ear to listen and he has a wise input to any difficult task. He reminds me of actually one of the greatest collegiate quarterbacks of all time. Had to mention that because I'm a sports information director at Celebratory University. He reminds me of a man by the name of Roger Staubach.
Yes, Cowboys.
A Navy man himself. Staubach won the Heisman Trophy, a two-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, and was a dual threat on the field through his passing game and running game as well. Now, why does he remind me of Reverend Wilson? Well, his main duty on the field as a player was to score touchdowns for his teams or earn victories on the field, but he also dedicated his life to service off the field, which is proven as he was given and awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, in which its definition of the medal to those is to any individuals who have made especially meritorious contributions to the security or national interests of the United States, world peace, cultural, or other significant public or private endeavors. And he did that not just through his on-field performance, but off-the-field work, just like Reverend Wilson has, not just doing his work at the church, but his work off the church grounds, which I call off-the-field play. And because of that, he touches the many lives throughout the Weston community and the Northfield community and around the globe. And I couldn't be more blessed to have him in my life. Thank you, Reverend Wilson, for everything you've done for me, my family, as well as the entire church community for what you have done for these past 15 years. Congrats once again on your outstanding 15 years and hopefully another 15, 30, 100 years to come.
I'd like to invite up a representative from Andover Newton Seminary, Reverend Ned Parker, to give a brief word of thanks for Reverend Wilson, who serves on the board of Andover Newton.
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all know how to party. Come on. I grew up the son of 2 American Baptist ministers in Maine, so when I heard church dinner, I was really surprised when I arrived and all the food wasn't in Jell-O molds. This is the association I had. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here and share a few words. The first thing I would like to share is that when you come to an event like this, in a circumstance like this, you tend to learn something about someone, even if you've known them for a long time. And today, all I have to say is like, Superman? Really? I mean, come on! I grew up reading comic books, and I can honestly say Superman ain't got nothing on Reverend Wilson.
That's right.
As Thomas said, my name is Ned Allen Parker. I work with Andover Newton Seminary at Yale Divinity School, where Reverend Wilson serves as a trustee on our board. And Andover Newton's mission is deeply rooted in Christian faith and radically open to what God is doing now. Andover Newton Seminary educates inspiring leaders for faith communities. Before I get to Reverend Wilson, I want to say one brief word. I want you to notice that part of the mission statement, educate inspiring leaders. Because the idea is not that we create inspiring leaders, that's God's business. And the idea is not that we educate people to be inspiring, because people by their very nature can be inspiring. So before I get to Reverend Wilson, I want to say that because we bring inspiring leaders into our circle, it made perfect sense when we arrived at Yale Divinity School to have Thomas be one of our first student founders. So Thomas, thank you.
Not about me.
So as an institution who uses that statement as our mission, we require people who serve on our board to be deeply rooted in their Christian faith. We require people who serve on our board to be radically open to what God is doing now. And we require people on our board to be inspiring leaders in their faith communities. So it only makes sense that Reverend Dr. Wilson serves on that board so effectively, so well. And for those of you who know Andover Newton, you might know that we have been through a bit of a transition over the past 5 years as we've moved our campus from Boston down here to New Haven, Connecticut. We wanted to be a little closer to you. And Andover Newton is the oldest graduate school of any kind in the nation. We had 210,000 square feet of interior space. Our campus was on 20 acres. So imagine trying to move that institution from one state to another. It required patience, it required perseverance, it required endurance, and it required some kind of combination of all of those things that I would call grace. And all of those are exemplified in your pastor. And we cannot give gratitude enough to him for the guiding hand that he has given us as we have made this move down to Connecticut. So with all of that, to you, Reverend Wilson, I say, may God continue to bless you and keep you. May God's face continue to shine on you and show you mercy and grace. And may God's presence, which is already within you and within this community, go before you always from this day forward in the peace that you pass to everyone around you. Thank you so much, friends.
I was very fortunate that Andover Newton moved in my time at Yale because it was a very lonely place for our United Church of Christ Seminarian and no longer. They actually, I'm pretty sure they have around 50 seminarians this year at Andover Newton Seminary in their second year of existence. A lot of people didn't think that that could be so strong, and it's very impressive, all the things that they have done under Ned and Dean Sarah Drummond's leadership. Next up, I would like to invite up Rob Simmelcare, who will present a citation from Congressman Hunt.
Hello, fellow Northfielders.
Hello.
It's my pleasure today to represent our great Congressman Jim Himes today, to congratulate Reverend Wilson on his 15 years here. If Congressman Himes were here today, I'm sure he would say that just as Reverend Wilson has written about many times, our country is going through some tough and testing times right now. And when we as a nation, as a community, go through times like that, we need leaders like Reverend Wilson who teach us how to talk to each other, how to communicate with each other across political divides, and how to come together as one people. And that is what Reverend Wilson has done in his 15 years here at Northfield and throughout his career in ministry. And so I am very pleased to read this proclamation from the Honorable Jim Himes, 4th Congressional District, State of Connecticut, a certificate of special recognition presented to Reverend Dr. Bernard Wilson for 15 years of pastoral leadership in Northfield. I join the Northfield Congregational Church in honoring your extraordinary spiritual leadership and your dedication to helping both the Weston Parish and the greater community at large. Signed, November 10th, 2019, Congressman Jim Himes. Congratulations.
I'd like to, at this time, invite up Knox Watson, who will give another citation from the Connecticut State Legislature.
Big one. Thank you. Good morning. In recognition of Reverend Dr. Bernard R. Wilson's service to our country, our state, and our Northfield community, I am proud to present this citation from the Connecticut General Assembly. The General Assembly, introduced by Senator Will Haskell, the 26th District, Senator Tony Huang of the 28th District, and Representative Ann Hughes of the 135th District. Be it hereby known to all that the Connecticut General Assembly offers its sincerest congratulations to Reverend Dr. Bernard R. Wilson in recognition of your 15 years of devoted pastoral leadership at Northfield Congregational Church. From your presence at the Sandy Hook tragedy, to your guidance at the chaplain of Weston Police Department, to always providing wise counsel and comfort to so many in our community during tough times. You have always been there whenever needed. We gather today to thank you for your unwavering commitment to our congregation and our community, and wish you many more years of health and happiness. The entire membership extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued success. It will be presented this day, the 10th of September 2019, at the State Capitol, Hartford, Connecticut, by President Pro Tempore, the Speaker of the House, and the Secretary of the State of Connecticut. Again, congratulations, Dr. Bernard Wilson. Thank you.
Thank you, Knox. And at this time, we are in for another special treat. I know there's a lot of different stories. We all have an individual or a few stories about Reverend Wilson. But I'd like to invite up at this time Jeffrey Bradshaw Mack, who is going to talk a little bit about the search committee process that brought our beloved pastor to our doors.
Good morning, Northfield. My name is Jeff Bradshaw Mack. I had the great privilege and honor of being the co-chair of the search committee that ultimately culminated in bringing Bernard to us. And I would like to add my blessings and fond wishes for the day, 15 years. In this great celebratory day, as Bernard's head must be getting bigger, I just want us to think back to a time more than 15 years ago when we were a very unsettled church. Reverend Seba today in his lovely sermon mentioned the 4 pillars of the goal of the UCC, and one of them was to embrace change. I would not want to pick an argument with Reverend Seba, but stability is also a nice thing. I look around the room, there's many, many Northfield families here who have been here longer than we have, and we've been here 20 years. But there's also many, many families who have been here less time than that, and that's part of Northfield. There's constant change going on. And I just want to remind everyone that we can't take this for granted. We've been very, very fortunate. Hopefully there's another 15 years in Bernard, or maybe Reverend Green's 31 years record can be broken. But there was a lot of work. There's a number of the folks from the search committee here today, and there was a lot of work that went into having Bernard find us. I don't think we found him, I think he found us. And that was very special. It went on for a long period of time, and there was a 3 or 4 year period where many of you remember we had a series of interim ministers. They were all lovely individuals, and they helped us as a church, but it wasn't the same as having a settled minister. And so I would ask that we all just appreciate what we have and hope that we can keep that for a long, long time. And with that, Bernard, blessings for the day.
Thank you so much. I would just want to, again, thank all of you for being here, but especially those colleagues in Christ. I see, thank you so much, Reverend Green McCrate, for coming. Reverend Rogers is here, which I know. Claudia Mangle, who I just met. So we have... There is a beautiful history of change and stability here at Northfield, and so I'm so appreciative of everyone who is so supportive of Reverend Wilson. But at this time, I'd like to ask Penny Anderson to come up to present a little gift that the staff thinks that Reverend Bernard deserves.
So every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, the staff meets in the conference room, and we meet there to discuss what went on last Sunday, how it went, and then we go on to how this Sunday will go, and we set up the schedule and choose some of the, or make some changes, and we're kind of a diverse group. I'm there. I'm my age. Jackson Quist is there. He's a college student age. We have Bernard, Terry, Andrew, Thomas, David, and we all sort of have our own ideas about whatever might be the topic of conversation. And I think all of us, when we're throwing those ideas out and bantering them around, sometimes it can go on and on. And I think everybody in this room that's in that staff meeting can always hear Bernard Wilson say, all right, now what's the solution. So that's what we take away from that staff meeting. We're working on programs for children, programs for youth, music programs, administration programs, scripture and prayer and care for our community, and we're always trying to work on that solution. That's his guiding hand. So 15 years ago, we're happy that that search sent Bernard Wilson. God chose him for Northfield Church. Our gift is, this is to commemorate 15 years.
David. The celebration bowl that was selected by the staff will have the engraving done by the craftsman at Simon Pierce in Quechee, Vermont, which will say, "Gratitude and love for 15 years of ministry." And it's with loving hands that this beautiful bowl will be crafted, engraved, because it is with your loving hands and guidance and for being our North Star that this bowl will be forever passed on to your children, your grandchildren, to their children, as to who is their North Star. So with all the love and gratitude that we feel, and for your visionary skills, and for leading us onto a pathway of light. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And at this time, I think there is someone in this room who might be able to speak to Bernard's life more than any one of us. And at this time, I'd like to invite up the Reverend Dr. Ruby Wilson to say a few words.
Praise God, everybody, and give it honor to God and to the Northfield Congregational Church, and particularly to my older brother, and I love saying that, the Reverend Dr. Bernard Wilson. I'm not going to be here long because I know that I could spend probably my lifetime talking about my brother Bernard, who I saw grow up with me. He was 3 years ahead of me, but I've watched him and I've watched him develop. He has been my mentor, my friend, my great advocate, my biggest debater. Sometimes he challenges me to no end, but he is truly a very special person. And I'm representing my 7 other brothers and sisters. One sister, may she rest in peace, Kathlina, but she is here with us anyway in spirit. And as you know, Bernard, when it comes to trying to pull the family together to get you something, you know, you can't get it because everybody's not on the same page. I've come empty-handed. But I'm going to close out with this. He is a gift to the family, and along with his precious wife, I must say, you know how in the communion liturgy, when you offer the sacraments of the bread and wine, and it is said the gifts of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. I truly believe that in our midst today, and as you've seen for 15 years, both Nareda and my brother have been the gifts of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God.
I'm not on the program, but I'm going to answer. Just to say this, I really appreciated the fact that when I contacted trumpeters and instrumentalists and ringers and singers and children and soloists and said, can you be part of this special morning and make it special for Reverend Bernard? Everybody said yes right away because of what it meant to help you celebrate your day. So I have appreciation for all of the musicians from Northfield who helped make this morning special, for Reverend Timothy for coming and playing so I don't have to play during this, and to show it as a mark of what it means, your ministry, to everyone here, that everyone was so eager and glad to come and help you celebrate today.
Thank you, Dr.
So I would also like to just say a few words, because, you know, I count myself one of the most, probably the most blessed person in this room to be the associate minister of Reverend Wilson. Obviously, I'm very new. I graduated seminary last year, and so to have someone like this as a mentor, he explained this relationship as a marriage, and it has to be very strong. You have to be willing to argue. You have to be willing to love each other and be each other's team, which is helping me in my own relationship, so I'm very appreciative. But to close us out for the evening, I would like to invite up none other than the Dr. Reverend Bernard R. Wilson.
Narrator, would you come up too, please? I am so overwhelmed by your presence here today and the many gracious and sometimes embarrassing things said about me. You know, the first solo I sang in the children's choir at my church in Harlem said, humble me, O Lord, humble me so I can do your will. You guys have kept me from being that way today. My dear colleague in ministry and our awesome associate minister, Pastor Thomas, asked me what I wanted to do today. And I said, I just want to smile. And he said, Reverend Bernard, I hope to put the biggest smile on your face today. In Northfield, thank you for doing just that. But not just on my face, because although I know she wants to stay hidden most of the time, I want to say thank you, Northfield, for putting a smile on Narrator's face. Because I know how much Narrator loves this congregation and this community, and I hope you know how much your love and support of Narrator has made my ministry here not just good, not just better, but the best. On this crystal anniversary that's 15 years as your spiritual leader, I want to express to you from the bottom of my heart how grateful I am for the privilege you've afforded me to care and counsel you in tough and testing times, invited me into your home to relax, refresh, and allow Narrator and I to simply enjoy your company. But more importantly, Northfield and my Western friends, you've allowed me to serve as chaplain for the best police force anywhere, invited me to participate in town-wide events, you've privileged me to baptize your babies, and sometimes your older children, confirm your teenagers, officiate at your weddings, pray with you as your relationships hit turbulent times, your finances crumbled, legal issues consumed you, health concerns engulfed you, and you turned to me when death called those you loved away. And you prayed for me when I failed you, said something wrong, did something wrong, disappointed you in some way or another. But through these 15 years, you've honored me by calling me and allowing me to serve as your pastor. There is no greater honor, and for that privilege, I am grateful. And as we celebrate our 15 years together, we are celebrating what God has done in us and for us and through us for all of us. Now, I know better than to try and call names of thanks, so it seems to me the best thing to say is to simply say thank you to each and every one of you for giving me a glimpse of God's glorious presence and power. And as Jeremy and the choir sang earlier, thank you for raising me up so I can stand on mountains, for raising me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong because I stand on your shoulders, and you raise me to be more than I can be. Northfield with Jesus, let's see what God is going to do in the next 2 weeks, not 15 years. Just kidding. Thank you for this marvelous celebration of my ministry to this congregation and to our community. And thank all of you who made this possible. We are blessed to be here. Thank you so much.
Before everyone leaves, we have wonderful cookies that are crystal angels in honor of this crystal anniversary of our dear Reverend Wilson. So they're on the table there, so please be sure to take notice of our new Northfield logo that's being unveiled as we celebrate our dear beloved Bernard. So now, Thomas, take it away for the video.
So we are very fortunate to have a wonderful video made by Paula Tracy demonstrating the wonderful ministry that we have in Reverend Wilson.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue.
What about your favorite food?
My favorite food is chicken.
If you could take a vacation, where would it be and why?
That one requires a little thought because there's so many places I would love to go to that I've been to before. Certainly it would be Italy and Rome, and visiting the Holy Land would be the other one, which we're about to do next year.
Oh, cool. Do you have any pets?
I do not have any pets, but my children have pets, so I get to love them.
How many siblings do you have?
I had 8 siblings. There was 9 of us. One of my siblings died in 2010.
I'm sorry.
So now I have 7 siblings.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite sport?
My favorite sport is actually baseball.
Why do you like that sport?
I like the whole concept of hitting a bat and catching a ball and running around the base.
Nice. Do you like to cook?
I love to grill.
Nice.
I don't know if that counts as cooking.
When you were growing up, where did you live?
I was born and raised in Harlem in New York City, and we lived on 5th Avenue. And I was there until I went to college when I was 18 years old.
Cool. What is your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby is reading.
What is your favorite holiday and why?
Another one that has challenges. Certainly Christmas is my favorite holiday, but Easter is right up there. And both because Christmas is just a lot of fun, and I really like the concept of the world coming together for peace on earth and the whole birth story of Jesus Christ, so I really like that.
What is the thing you like the most about your job?
I feel like I should say people. I really love loving people and having the opportunity to make people feel better about who they are.
That's great. Why do you like watches and clocks a lot? What is the story behind?
So I have, as some of you may know, lots of watches and clocks. Not I shouldn't say watches. I have more clocks than watches. But I like the idea of time travel. And so having clocks reminds me that we can't control time.
Tell us more about the story of you and the New York Library.
The New York Library. So I got a job at the New York Public Library when I was 16 years old. And it was, I loved books, and then being around books was a great opportunity to get to know books even better.
Nice. How many grandchildren do you have?
I have 6 grandchildren, 3 boys and 3 girls.
This was Get to Know Our Reverend better. Thank you for everything you do on Sunday and teach us about God.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Take care.
Bye. Bye. Now that we know a lot about our Reverend, let's watch one of his most inspirational speeches.
To all of the great supporters of this awesome, life-giving, life-saving, life-affirming organization, grace and peace to each of you. The poet Emma Lazarus wrote these words: "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." These are, of course, the words that are inscribed on the base of the Statue of Liberty in New York City, expressions to the hopes of millions of people who have come to this country not just for freedom, but also for economic necessity, to escape famine or homes destroyed by violence, for the chance for basic survival. In the earliest years of our history, some came willingly, looking for land and resources, like the settlements in Virginia, or for the opportunity to build a society strictly along their understanding of biblical principles, like the colonists in Massachusetts. And others came unwillingly, like my ancestors as African slaves. Truth to tell, all of us, unless we are 100% Native Americans, have families that came from somewhere else, whether that was 400 years ago, 4 months ago, or 4 weeks ago. We all have benefited from the welcome and the opportunity to try our hand at what Abraham Lincoln called a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all of us are created equal. Northfield Congregational Church is proud to partner with SERI to welcome the tired, the poor, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free, and to accept this honor tonight and say to immigrants and refugees, this land is your land. This land is our land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. On behalf of Northfield Congregational Church,
We're so excited to take this opportunity to say congratulations to the Reverend Dr. Bernard Wilson, more commonly known in our household as Papa, for his 15 years with the Northfield Congregational Church.
We are so proud of you, inspired by everything you've accomplished, and we're very thankful for the congregation that feels like an extended family to us.
What's mine?
Okay, you guys turn.
Congratulations, Papa. Bye. No.
Say we love you. We're so proud of you.
Love you, Papa. I love you, Papa. Bye.
Bye.
Watch love you.
Hey Dad, congratulations on a decade and a half at Norfield. Thank you to the Norfield family for everything you've done for my family, for my mom and dad, especially for keeping my mom happy. That's the most important thing to me and Dad. And when I think about everything you guys have accomplished over the last 15 years, it's awe-inspiring, it's amazing, and I'm so proud of everything you guys have done, the people that you've helped, the word that you've brought to everybody, the compassion that you've shown to people pretty much around the world. And it's amazing what you all have done together, and it makes me so happy and so proud to just be even a little part of it. When I think about my dad, and you know, I want to give my appreciation. It's easy to think about everything that Dad, you've taught me, how to be a good man, how to be a good officer, how to be a good professional, how to be a good husband, father, brother. But the thing that I think is most relevant to me right now is how to handle all of that, how to handle everything that life throws at you, the goods, the bads, the ups and downs, the trials, the joys, with humor, patience, and compassion, how to always look for the silver lining, how to always look for a lesson, how to always look to gain, to appreciate everything that life throws at you, and all the gifts that life has to offer. One of my favorite sermons that you've ever given, and something that's really stuck with me, you know, for a long time, is when you gave the sermon about how you can't beat God giving. And it's true. God, you know, gave me you and Mom, and you guys pretty much gave me everything else. And I couldn't have asked for a better role model better role models than you and Mom, and I can never be able to. I'll never be able to express how appreciative I am of everything that you've done for me and everything that you've taught me, and I'll always remember that you cannot beat God given, because God gave me you guys, and I love you. I'm so proud of you, and can't wait to see you.
Congratulations, Pop Pop. We love you.
Hi, Bernard. I'm sorry I can't be there to celebrate with you. Congratulations on 15 years. That's an amazing milestone. I don't know if you realize it, but we actually met for the first time 15 years ago. And in that amount of time, you've really made me feel like a part of your family. And I really value that. I love when we can all get together, and I wish we could do that more. I know the kids really enjoy being with you. They love their Pop so much. You're wonderful with them. And, you know, I was asked to say what I like about you. And, you know, something that is really special to me is that I really feel like I have a father figure in you that I can look up to, ask for advice, and look to for a role model. And that's really, you know, important to me. So I appreciate that so much. I also really like your crazy family stories. They're a little bit unbelievable, but pretty amazing, and I never get tired of hearing them. So congratulations to you and your congregation.
Congratulations to the Reverend Dr. Bernard Wilson, to his lovely wife, Nareda, my sister-in-law. I wanted to just express my deepest gratitude to the Norfield congregation, and to my brother, whom is my pastor, my dearest friend, and I love him with all my heart. Wanted to say congratulations in 15 years serving a wonderful church there on the east coast of heaven. This is his youngest brother speaking, Chaplain Charles Wilson, and 15 years ago in this uniform, I spoke at his installation service and was proud to be able to give that message there to the church. Prior to that, I had said to my brother, who never listened to me, I said to him, I don't think this is a good fit for you. But knowing my brother, who goes by the leading of the Lord, he took on as the position as the 35th pastor of the Northfield Congregational Church, and now 15 years later, look what God has done. Proud of you, my brother, knowing that God will continue the work with you and in you, and congratulations to you. From the west coast of heaven, I wanted to say well done to you. Love you, my brother.
Hi, hello, Northfield Congregational Church. I am Tanya. I'm the oldest granddaughter of David and Davetta Wilson, therefore the oldest niece of our very own Bernard R. Wilson. I stopped by to say congratulations. Wow, Uncle B, wow. This is amazing. 15 years in spiritual leadership and ministry at Northfield Congregational Church. Listen, that's no small feat to provide such leadership, especially in these days and times. I just want to say thank you for your service to not just the church, but to the military community by serving nobly in our United States Navy. And your 15-year anniversary coincides with Veterans Day and also the 100-year armistice for the ending of World War I. So it's a celebration all the way around. And as a Gold Star spouse of my Marine Dwight, I had to make sure I thanked you for not only your service to the church, but to our country. Listen, Uncle Bernard, I just want to say I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. I thank you and I love you. Congratulations. Enjoy many more years in ministry. The community needs it, and it needs you. Take care. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.
I want to take the time to recognize this momentous and celebratory occasion, the 15th anniversary of Reverend Bernard Wilson's service at Northfield Congregational Church in Weston, Connecticut. For as long as I've known Reverend Wilson, he has carried and fostered the spirit of giving and of nurturing those around him, and that's a contagious spirit. I definitely know it touched my life. Your commitment and your generosity of spirit has touched many lives, and your continued service promises to impact so many more. I hope you and your congregation enjoy continued growth and blessings, and may God bless you.
Congratulations, Bernard. I'm so proud of you. People like you are truly pride and joy of a community. On the way forward, you deserve all you have achieved and more to come. Congratulations. Happy 15th of Northfield. God bless.
Hey Pop Pop! So I just wanted to congratulate you on 15 years of serving Northfield Congregational Church. In those 15 years, I cannot express to you how many lives you've touched and how many people you have helped find their way. You have truly created a community of peace, love, and faith, and that's more of a gift than any of us could have ever asked for. I am so just lucky and honored to be able to call myself your granddaughter and to learn from your wisdom and guidance. So here's to 15 years. I love you.
Bernard, thanks for your ministry to my family, to Northfield, to the community, to the wider UCC, and far beyond. And also, thanks for bringing Nareda along with you. The two of you have really made a difference. Thank you, and blessings on you.
So I would like to welcome up the woman who I try and live into her shoes every day, the current senior minister of Scarsdale Congregational Church and former associate minister here at Northfield Congregational Church, the Reverend Kelly Hugh Rogers.
I am grateful to you for the bigger and better shoes that you are filling than any I could have left behind here. And Bernard, I am grateful to you because when we both came to Connecticut in 2004, I being a female and you being the man that you are, we were the diversity of the But now I look around this beloved community and I see nothing but the kingdom of God.
Amen.
This is what God's community is supposed to look like. This is what God had intended for our lives, and that is all accredited to God's good grace and to your leadership, sir. So to you, I give all the credit. I will always have your back. I think you know that. I know all your secrets. And you know mine. So our friendship will be forever. I love you very much. Thank you.
And just as a testament to how much Reverend Wilson is a community leader, if you don't know, Northfield will be traveling to Israel next May with Temple Israel, and his wonderful friendship with Rabbi Michael Friedman, and who is here today to say a few words about that relationship. So thank you so much, Rabbi Friedman.
Wow, didn't expect this to be. Anyway, that was off script. What an honor it is to be here with you, Reverend Wilson. And I'm reminded as Kelly was standing up here that about a year ago we attended your installation, and there was a beautiful sermon that morning by the regional minister, essentially. That's what I'll refer to her as. And the theme of her sermon, the topic of her sermon was love your people. It was a great sermon for all of us sitting in the congregation to hear. Kelly, you didn't need to hear that sermon because it is preached every single day. For every year that you worked here with Reverend Wilson, you not only heard, but you saw and you felt and you experienced that sermon come to life. Bernard, thank you for being a model for all of us who are your colleagues and your friends and your students as you show what it means to love all people, to love your people, to love our people. It's truly been an inspiration to become your colleague and soon your friend. Because when I came here to Weston and Westport about 5.5 years ago, one of the very first calls I received was from Reverend Dr. Bernard R. Wilson. And he said, I want to get to know you. And I want to get to know your congregation better and for you to come to know ours. And that began a relationship where now we discuss faith, leadership, what it means to be a good human being in this day and age. We discuss our families and children and his grandchildren. And I'm so grateful for that relationship that Haley and I have with you and Nareda. It will be a highlight of my career this May, and Reverend Wilson sang his too, when our congregations travel to Israel together. I know many of you in this congregation or in this hall are already registered for the trip. There's still a few spots available, so if you're thinking about it, May 10th to the 21st, we invite you to join us for what will be a once-in-a-lifetime faith-altering experience. In conclusion, thank you for inviting me to be part of this illustrious day. As we would say, Bernard, mazel tov. You've done so well, and there's so many more beautiful, happy, celebratory milestone occasions in front of you as well. We all look forward to those celebrations with you in the years to come. May you go, as we say, when we finish each. There are 5 books of the Torah. When we finish each book of the Torah, the congregation responds with, I'll teach you. Yes. All right, it's only 3 Hebrew words and 2 of them are the same. So I'll say it. I'll say the whole thing and then I'll ask you to repeat after me. So chazak. Chazak. Chazak again. Chazak. Venit chazek. Venit chazek. So chazak, chazak, venit chazek means may you go from strength to strength, and may we strengthen one another. Amen. Amen.
Again, thank you all so much for being here. I hope that this day has demonstrated what a phenomenal leader we have. We talk about strength. Today we heard in Scripture about the cornerstone, but what we have in Bernard is a capstone. We have Bernard to be a non-anxious presence, to keep us safe, to keep us solid, to keep us firm when the world shakes us at our core. So thank you so much, Reverend Wilson, and thank you all so much as well.